I'm here to tell you a little bit about the first bourbon ever made outside of Kentucky in America since before Prohibition, believe it or not. We were it. I woke up one morning after my wife and I had talked the night before, and she said, well, "What are you going to do? You don't have a job." I was a software marketing guy, and when Enron collapsed, I lost my gig completely. I lost about 17,000 shares of Commerce One stock. Commerce One was a software company out of California that had just acquired my company, which was called Extra Prize. So she said, "What are you going to do? You've been out of work for 2 years now and you don't have a job. What are you going to do?" And I said, "I'm still working on it." And that night we were reading the newspaper, and there was an article about a guy that was going to create yet another Texas vodka. That would mean 5 Texas vodkas and no Texas whiskeys whatsoever at the point in time. This was 2001. And she said, "What do you like?" And I said, "Well, I really like bourbon." And she said, "Well, why don't you go to Kentucky and learn how to make bourbon?" And I said, "Are you really going to buy me a plane ticket to go to Kentucky and learn how to make bourbon?" She said, "Yes, I am." And I was gone for 10 days. I called her at the end of 10 days and I said, "I'm not coming home yet. I've stumbled into something that is big and it could be really big." So I wrote a letter to the Tax and Trade Bureau, formerly the Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, and Firearms. And I've still got that letter framed in my distillery. I would love you to come see my distillery because I'm very proud of it. But the letter said, one question: can I make bourbon in Texas and call it bourbon? And the guy wrote me back and said, an email back and said, "Of course you can. Why would you think otherwise?" And I said, "Because everybody in America thinks that bourbon has to come from Kentucky." And I knew it was going to be an uphill battle then, because not only did I have to teach them that you could make bourbon outside of Kentucky, I had to teach consumers that you could make bourbon outside of Kentucky, but I also had to teach them that good bourbon can come from other states in the United States. Since then, we've opened up about 250 distilleries in Texas that are making some really fine bourbon. A lot of them are my friends and colleagues, and we all work together to make a better product every single year. Our resolve in Texas is to build the industry.